Here's something I wanted to ask football fans. Who is more at risk of relegation, Manchester United or Tottenham? Who is more at risk of being sacked, Ruben Amorim or Ange Postecoglou? We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about City's title charge again. Are they actually back in it? Is the resurgence of Manchester City real this time? With everything going on behind the scenes and looking like it may be looking a lot better for City. Is this what is making them now play better? 6-0 smashing of Ipswich yesterday. And Pep looks a little bit more upbeat again all of a sudden. Šeško, is he going to come to Arsenal in this January transfer window? That is one of the rumours going around. We're going to talk about all of that, including another midfielder linked with Manchester City. What is happening with Liverpool right now? All the other news around the Premier League. We've got it. We're live. Get into the live comment section, everybody, as well. Give me your thoughts, as always. We're talking and we're starting with, obviously, Manchester City yesterday coming back to the fore, and everybody seems to be finding their feet again at Manchester City. Unfortunately for everybody else, but they're the facts. City 6-0. It wasn't even... the game was never at risk yesterday. I personally was driving home after Manchester United got smashed by Brighton. Turned the radio on, driving down the road, and all of a sudden, bang, yep, let's go over to Ipswich versus Manchester City. Another goal. You know that comment. You know that one that comes in. Yep, it's now 3-0. Just coming up to half-time. I'm like, fuck. Oh, my days. Like, how good can they be when they just turn it on? Just like that. It's like everything that had gone before, the bad form, everything that was happening at Manchester City, the bad off the pitch, the bad on the pitch, has all just been completely blown away. It's like the cobwebs are gone and they're playing football again. Kyle Walker looks set for AC Milan. That's him out of the way. Everything's done there. And then you're looking at Manchester City looking to invest, like we've spoken about many times on the show before, some 250 million. Obviously, the big news was Erling Haaland's contract extension and everything that's happened there with that. The amount of money that they are investing into one player is absolutely... It's mind-blowing is what it is, into one player. But they are backing the players that they have got, and they are moving forward again. Obviously, they've turned it around. They're on a bit of a winning run again. Obviously, a big week for Manchester City as well in terms of Champions League. PSG, we will be covering that game probably here on Football Talks and a watch-along this week, as well as all of the other Champions League action that's going on that night. We'll keep you updated there. So if you want to be part of that one, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button with your bell notification here on Football Talks to make sure that you're fully up to date with extra content coming up on this channel as well. Hello if you are new to the channel and just subscribed, thank you. And hello if you have just jumped across from FUTV. But let's get into Manchester City's charge and where they're actually at. Kevin De Bruyne yesterday looked back to his best. We've now got Phil Foden, who is 6-6 in the Premier League all of a sudden from having a disastrous first half of the season. When you've got players like Phil Foden, who are not on form, it's quite obvious. It looks terrible because you're used to him being so good. It's Kevin De Bruyne, exactly the same. Bernardo Silva. None of these Manchester City players have been playing well all through the first half of the season. They've been very inconsistent. And I did make a point of saying, I think yesterday, regarding Pep Guardiola and his actual commitment to Manchester City being a turning point. It wasn't, because the form went off a cliff even more. But it does look like they have pulled themselves together right now. And Kevin De Bruyne playing brilliantly yesterday. Phil Foden, obviously. Haaland just guarantees you goals. And if they do invest into the transfer market like we know they are, Mamouche is on his way. Obviously, they've got the other players coming in as well in defence. We're hearing about more bids for defenders and another bid in for Douglas Luiz all of a sudden as well. Like a double hit on Juventus. Cambiasso and Douglas Luiz right now. I mean, you're trying to cover that spot that Rodri's left. And you're not going to get a Rodri player. He is irreplaceable. I think everybody from inside City and outside of City will say that. He's a Ballon d'Or winner. He's the best midfielder and the best holding midfielder on the planet. It's as simple as that. There's nothing that anybody else can argue against it. He is. And I think him being injured has coincided with a bit of City's downfall. I think there's more involved in it, obviously. There's a lot more going on at City right now, and it does seem like they've come to a bit of a crossroads this season, and they've come out of the other side of it right now. All will be obviously determined in that game on in that game this week against PSG in the Champions League. And I think that's basically what everyone's watching for. Are City back? If they beat PSG away from home, then they are back, aren't they? I think we can safely say that. They will comfortably then qualify for the playoffs, at least in the Champions League, if they win that game. And obviously that will give them momentum going into the Premier League as well, where they are already moving forward with form, like we said yesterday, players coming back. And yeah, I feel like we're in a position with City right now where we're just waiting just to see if it is real. And when you look at the Premier League table, do you feel like City could actually mount a challenge? They moved back into the top 4 instantly yesterday from 8th, which again is what I was saying. Like, are they out of it? If Liverpool do slip up, or if Liverpool do have this moment and City go on one of their runs and the pressure comes on, and City still have to play Liverpool again at the Etihad this season, and that turns into a 6-pointer, will Liverpool start to feel the nerves? I know it's a mile off, and I do still think that Liverpool will win the league. Well, the question has to be asked, are we now going to get a City resurgence and they go on one of City's runs, which they always do in the second half of the season? Because we know they always do. City start to turn up in the second half of every single season. It just depends how bad their bad patch is, and it has been horrific for them and their standards this season, obviously. But it does look like we've gone, bang, January's here, let's go again. And unfortunately for the rest of the league, like I said, it's now that point where we're waiting to see. And PSG this week is that big one. But come into the chat and tell me, do you think City can mount a charge all of a sudden now? Are they back in it in a way? City have a high ceiling with we are stuck in the basement. That's Andrew from a United fan. Just been chatting to a Spurs fan. I didn't realise how many injuries they have. Oh, everyone moaning about injuries again. There's a lot going on with injuries at the moment, and it's been used as a big excuse yet again. By the way, Bournemouth have got 9 players out, just to put you in the picture. Yeah, Bournemouth. So let's leave injuries alone, shall we? God, I've had enough of that as a United fan, to be honest. Like the injury excuse does my head in. I know it's impossible sometimes to work with it when you've got a certain amount of injuries, but I think right now, it just gets thrown around too much. It really does. And I like I said, it's difficult and it doesn't help. But everybody, I mean, look, like Nottingham Forest lost their 2 first-team midfielders, centre midfielders at the start of the season. And look where they are now. Players come through. Players thrive. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always a ways around it for me. Hi Adam, I can't see Douglas Luiz going back to City given who they have played recently. I wouldn't say they are back yet. Confidence is key for them. Outside chance of 4th place for me. Well, they're in 4th now, mate. So I don't think it's an outside chance. I think they're looking at this now and they're just going to move to try and get as close to Liverpool as they possibly can. It's all down to Liverpool, and if they get a little bit nervy. Have they had their bad blip over the last few weeks, Liverpool? Or is there another one to come? Because you can always see it, like, but for that goal from Núñez, Liverpool were dropping more points. Injury time goal for Núñez against Brentford. That game was so close from going away from Liverpool, and that'd have been 3 points out of 9. They'd have dropped 6 points in 3 games. Now that sort of drop off is what brings Man City back into it. And Liverpool obviously will still have tougher games to come. And we'll see if they have got it. I think they have. I do still think that they will win the league. But all I'm saying is be aware of what Manchester City can do. Because they can definitely go on a charge. 100% they can go from now. They could go, literally, if they win 10 games in a row from now, which is doable for them, they're probably back in it. They're probably within about 6 or 7 points of Liverpool. And then they've got to play them. And if they win that becomes 3 points. It gets nervy. And let's not forget, Arsenal play Liverpool 3rd to last game of the season. So if they're chasing and competing, it also benefits Man City. Because I think City right now, and if they spend in January and bringing the players that they're bringing in, I think they would feel, and I would probably bank on them to actually beat Liverpool in any one-off game anyway. I'm just worried. As a United fan anyway, I'm worried what City might do right now. I'm just being honest. Just being fully honest. Just checking through other news, which is always coming through to me as well. We're going to get through most of the transfer news, but I quickly want to move on to the Amorim and Ange Postecoglou. Who is favourite to go? We're talking about the title there with City, Liverpool, what's happening there. Let's move to the other end and go into what's happening with Spurs. If you're losing 3-1, great goal by Kulusevski, by the way, yesterday, just to make that point. What a goal. Shame it was in consolation circumstances, but how do you concede 3 goals to Everton? Everton don't score. They don't score. And this is where injuries will come into it. But Spurs really competed with Arsenal the other night and stopped them pretty much. I know with the likes of Archie Gray, Ragusan being at the back, Romero being out, Van der Ven being out, it's difficult. When you lose your 2 main centre-backs, that's hard to take. That's a difficult one to swallow. And I understand how that will affect your season. Bad injuries as well. But it's like the Spurs fans, just listening to them on the radio this morning, it's like Ange Postecoglou and his system and his stubbornness, they're always running back and chasing back because of this high line. They're always picking up muscle injuries, calf injuries, hamstring injuries. It's all due to the way that he plays. Is this why Ange Postecoglou now is favourite to be sacked? Is he the next one out of the door? I think he will be the 7th. I think it's the 7th manager to be sacked this season. He is now favourite to go. Let's look at the teams below. Like Southampton have just got a new manager. Wolves have just got a new manager. Leicester have just got a new manager. Everton have just got a new manager. These are the teams below, obviously, Spurs right now. The next in line is Spurs. That, when you look at it, that's how it's gone, isn't it? None of them managers, like Ipswich, they're not going to get rid of McKenna. Not a chance in hell. I mean, he's being questioned right now, and he's going to have to adapt to the Premier League a bit more. And he's going to be, I think, by the end of this season, then looked at and like, okay, what happens now? But everyone below Spurs underperforming. I mean, you go as far as United. We are 2 points ahead of them. Like, you could say maybe Crystal Palace, but they've turned the corner, so no chance that Palace are changing. The next one out is Ange Postecoglou. In terms of underperforming this season, it has to be. But in terms of Amorim, like, he has just come out and said that this is the worst Manchester United side in the club's history. If he doesn't get backed, like we've just been talking about on FUTV this January, then these players will well and truly throw him under the bus. And we're going to be talking about another manager coming in. But I do believe, for me, I mean, you tell me, I think Ange Postecoglou is the next one out of the door. I can't see him surviving, honestly. I get that. I think if he goes out of the Carabao Cup to Liverpool, which I think is easy doable, to be honest. I think Liverpool with only a one goal lead going into that. Anfield, the way that Spurs are playing, if you're conceding 3 to Everton, for God's sake, then you're going to go to Anfield. You're probably going to ship a load. I mean, they've already put, 6 past them once this season already, Liverpool. I think Liverpool are confident of beating Spurs at Anfield, and Spurs are just not at it. Like, they've just conceded 5-2, lost 2 games to Arsenal and Everton away from home. They're going away again to, I think if he loses that game and goes out the Carabao Cup, I don't see him beating Aston Villa either in the FA Cup. That means he's completely lost every chance of Europe apart from the Europa League. And can you see him winning the Europa League? I honestly feel like United have got a better chance of winning the Europa League than Spurs. So reality tells us right now, Ange Postecoglou is the next man to be fired as a manager in the Premier League. Disagree with me if you want. Get into the chat. Let's see what you're saying on all of this. Who's going next? Is it Ange? Or is it, well, anybody else? Is there anyone else? I'm looking through that table and I'm thinking everyone's happy. Silva at Fulham? No. Obviously, Brighton, they're happy. What else are we looking at here then? Brentford, not a chance with Frank. No way. Everyone in the top half of the table, I think, is quite content. Yep, there's only one more manager to go. Ange Postecoglou, I think, will be sacked by Spurs before the end of this season. That's my prediction on this one. I don't see anybody else going before him. I think it's just the way that the Premier League works. But will they be relegated? I mean, they're in a relegation fight. I mean, 15th in the league. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if we looked at, let's just bring up the league table quickly and see exactly what we're actually dealing with here. So Ipswich are on 16 points. Spurs are on 24. So as it stands, Spurs are 8 points ahead of the relegation zone. You'd think that would be enough. But it's Spurs. They're in 15th. It's embarrassing enough for Manchester United, but 15th for Spurs. That is a million miles off it. And they're in the Europa League. They finished in the top 8 last season. Honestly, it's the only thing keeping United fans going right now probably is the fact that Spurs are worse off. But yeah, that is pretty bad. To be 8 points clear of the relegation zone. And like, Ipswich can always put a little run together. Yeah, they got smashed by City yesterday, but still, when you look at it, there's always the capability there with them. They do score goals, Ipswich. So, yeah, I still don't know how Everton, who only had 15 goals all season, managed to score 3 against Spurs. It's quite embarrassing. But what a roller coaster of a season. To be in 15th with plus 10 goal difference, that's Spurs right now. That is a little bit weird, isn't it? It really is. But hey, when you look at it, and you look at everything that's actually that's happened with Spurs this season, you could talk about injuries, things like that, anything like that. I just feel like there's no excuse for a club that size to be where they are. It's just like United. There's no excuse. And that, I think, is what it's all going to come down to in the end. And I think that's where the Spurs fans are at. Anyway, I want to get into the transfer speculation as well and talk about that. Adam, don't discount Rude at Leicester. It could go on a run. I don't know. Spurs will sack him as soon as they are out of Europa. Yep. Could do. Everton played really, really well, though. They are one to watch with all this relegation stuff. I absolutely agree that Ange could be next. I think he is one game away, to be honest. Leicester at home is their next game in the league. Come on, Rude. If Rude wins that one, I think Ange is gone. 100%. It's got to be. 100%. Sacks if Rude beats them and Leicester beat them in that game. Keep giving the video a like as well if you haven't already. Thank you everybody for joining us. We're going to talk about the transfer situation next and what's actually happening there. Going through all of the news and all of the speculation columns and everything like that. AC Milan in for João Felix. They're looking now, AC Milan, at different options for instead of Marcus Rashford, because that deal has now been put to bed. It does look like Kyle Walker is going to be heading to AC Milan. That's moving ever closer right now. So really interesting updates on them there. The big one really, though, is do Arsenal realistically have a chance of signing Benjamin Sesko this month? That is one that has come out. Arsenal weigh up a January move for Benjamin Sesko. That's what's happening. 70 million move for the RB Leipzig 21-year-old striker Benjamin Sesko in January. Transfer window or negotiate a short-term loan. So Arsenal well and truly looking into the possibility of signing. Everyone knows that Arsenal need a striker. Yet again, injury crisis has struck Arsenal. The amount of players that they have got out. I mean, alone right now, and an update has just come out on Arsenal's injury front and what's happening with them. Ben White, Tomiyasu, Ricardo Calafiore and Ethan Manieri are believed to be nearing returns in the next few weeks. Bukayo Saka's absence is more long-term and he is likely to be out until March. When you look at the players coming in there, yes, at the back, that's all right. No problem at all. Wanyeri could be a good one, but let's be honest, you need the striker anyway, even with all of them players. Are you really clinging on to Gabriel Jesus? I don't think so. Benjamin Sesko is a real target for Arsenal, and I think will definitely head there. It just depends if they can make a deal happen in the January transfer window. Everybody knows that it's an impossible task to get players in January. But RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko, 21, has been heavily linked with an Emirates switch for the past 12 months. Sesko is expected to leave the German outfit in the summer, but Arsenal are weighing up whether to make a 70 million move for the Slovenian now or land a short-term loan. Boss Arteta said, we have more necessity now, but because of what happened in the last few weeks regarding injuries, we never plan a window. We have a plan. We look at the squad We never just plan a window. We have a plan. We look at the squad, how we are going to evolve, how we're going to evolve it, what we have in the academy, how we are going to change and adapt. Either we are really bad at planning, or nobody could see we would have had this many injuries. Injuries again. We have lost 2 massive players in the front line, and we need some support. Right, yeah. So that there pretty much really tells you where Arsenal are at. Saka and Gabriel Jesus. I still don't think Arsenal win the league with either of them. We still need a striker. I think he's making excuses there, to be honest. But I don't see RB Leipzig letting Benjamin Sesko go. I don't see him letting him go. Not in January. 70 million may test their resolve. It's like Stu says there. Vlahovic is an option for them. Does he fit their style? I don't really know. Sterling, they brought in the summer. He hasn't done nothing since arriving. He has been a poor signing, to be honest, I think. But, again, he was there for cover. Arsenal right now have got no chance of competing. I said this before. I think there is a difference between Arsenal challenging for the title and Arsenal challenging for top 4. I think it's quite clear. Arsenal could challenge for the title if they bought a striker. I do believe that. I don't think they will. But if they did go out and bet Benjamin Sesko, then you had all of them players coming back from injury. You could maybe mount a charge because you need that finisher. They're not finishing their chances. If Arsenal don't go out and buy a striker in January, I think they can wave goodbye. I think they can really wave goodbye to their chances of getting anything out of this league in terms of challenging for the title anyway. Let's see what else we've got in the chat. United in the mud, Spurs in the mud, not good company, says Anthony. No, it's not. 2 big clubs really suffering. Sterling done nothing his whole career. He did a little bit at City. Just subscribe, says Liam. Thank you for that, buddy. Compa Smith, a striker stole Arteta's guile back in the day. He hates number 9s. Watch him sign another left back or a 6. If he wants to win a trophy and in fact stay in a job at Arsenal, then he needs a striker. Those are the simple facts, I think, when it comes to where Arsenal are at. Get a striker. That's it. Obviously, we did just talk about Manchester United's transfer activity as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the loan market, I think, in this month. Like looking at, just from the United side, we're talking about Højlund and Zirkzee possibly going on loan. Anthony's gone on loan to Real Betis. What will happen with João Felix, like we just said then? Like João Felix to AC Milan. Now, he's turned into a journeyman very, very quickly, João Felix. From the heights that he was to where he is now, what a fall off. And this just shows, doesn't it? When you let a player get ahead of himself or you give him that big, big start, it can completely derail instantly, can't it? And I think that is what has happened for João Felix. I think he's just forgotten. Like, literally, I just think he's the forgotten man. He did well for Chelsea when he first came on that loan last season. I thought it was good, but no, it disappeared. It's a strange one. João Felix is like this unknown quantity right now, and it's a weird one. But yeah, I could see him definitely moving away. And I think there will be, going off the news and all of the speculation that's going around early doors this morning, really, when you look at it, when you look at everything that's going down, when you look at everything that's actually happening right now, you go into, say for instance, you go into, let me just say now, you go into like the loan market and what's happening. You've seen what Manchester United are doing. You've seen the desperation of so many clubs that are trying to make quick deals. This is all season salvageable moves right now. I just feel like there is going to be a big 2 weeks now at the back end of January. I still feel like Kvaratskhelia move from Napoli has just set the ball rolling with the rest of European football. And that is one of the biggest transfers in the January transfer window that I've seen or that I can remember. I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy, absolutely crazy how not Arsenal, sorry, how Napoli have allowed a player of that quality, while still competing for a title, to leave the football club, and that's what I don't get. I don't get at all. I think it's amazing how they've let that happen, and honestly, I think it's just opened up a whole different avenue for a lot of clubs right now. I think it is. I think it surprised everybody. I think it has actually taken a few of the bigger clubs by surprise as well, especially Man United with the Garnacho situation right now. I think that's having an effect on things. I do. But hey, look, let's get into the poll again that we've got running as well in the live chat. Which team is the best equipped for a relegation fight, Spurs or Man United? 59% of the chat said Spurs. And they have got players back and they do score goals. I think that's the fight that Spurs have got. I don't think United have got that unless things happen in the transfer window. I think that's what's more important on it. But look, Barcelona are also interested in Benjamin Sesko as well. Anything related to Barcelona, I just don't take serious anymore. I don't think they're in for anyone. I don't know how they're going to make it happen. They shouldn't be allowed to make it happen, is what we should be saying there. Real Madrid will try to sign Liverpool and England defender Trent Alexander-Arnold, 26, before the end of the month. We talked about that, actually, didn't we? We talked about that in the paper round yesterday, that they're going to go back in for him. There's like the biggest one, and the one that I'm looking at the moment, we touched on it before, is that Manchester City are considering a loan move for Brazil midfielder Douglas Luiz, 26. So it wasn't even a signing. They want to loan Douglas Luiz and spend a quarter of a billion this January. This is why I said at the top of the show, are City going to be back in a title challenge? Are they back in the charge if they get a few results together? That's scary right now. That one is scary, because if they manage to get him on loan, like how City operate and just go like that and make things happen, is scary for the rest of the Premier League. It's scary for everyone. And then they go and do what they did on the pitch against Ipswich. It just makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think. With Douglas Luiz, wow, seriously. There is a far out one as well, that Saudi Arabian clubs are interested in bringing Real Madrid forward, Vinicius Jr. into the Saudi Pro League. Shut up. Let's not even go there, please. That is never going to happen. Juventus are interested in two Chelsea players, Portugal defender Renato Vega, and 21 and 28-year-old England defender Ben Chilwell. Just let Ben Chilwell go there so he doesn't come to United and then rumours stop as well, please. Please. But yeah, it's Italian clubs raiding English clubs and vice versa right now. It just seems to be a hot topic in the transfer window. But I said it a minute ago, I just think that this window now is just going to go on to a different level. It really is. I think this is going to be the most exciting January transfer window, or N2, that we've had in years. It's always boring right now. It really is. In terms of Mr. Dacia Sandero in the chat has just come up with an interesting comment there. City's next 4 games. This is what will be determines Manchester City's charge, if they are going to make a last-ditch charge and put pressure on Liverpool. 4 games coming up for City: Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Newcastle at home, Liverpool home, with PSG, and another Champions League game mixed in the middle of that, and the FA Cup. So yes, how many of them are they going to win? If they come through that, they're back in it. I'll just say that now. That's what I feel anyway. I think they are well and truly back in it. Comment to me in the comment section right now, who is going to be the victors of this January transfer window? Is it that obvious? Is it just City? Because they have got that power to spend money. Is it City? Are they the winners of this January transfer window? What is your prediction going forward? We're always going to keep you updated here on Football Talk, so please do keep getting your comments in when the video has finished its live as well. Make sure that you do get all of your ideas and thoughts across. Disagree with me if you want. Agree with me. Let me know what you think. Get into the comment section, please. Talk to me about the relegation battle. Talk to me about the title charge. Talk to me about Arsenal. Are they in a top 4 fight, or are they actually realistically in a title fight? Do they need a striker? Let me know. And who is having the best January transfer window this January? Get into the comment section. Let me know, everybody. Let me know what you think about all of the topics that we have spoken about here on the show today. Thank you, everyone, all the mods. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Anyone who is new, any new subscribers, that is your midday update on everything else going around the Premier League, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Give the video a like on the way out. Make sure that you get your comment in below as well. Subscribe to Football Talks, and I'll see you in the next show. Cheers, everyone.